Welcome back, boys and girls. We are going to continue our adventures of James and the Giant Peach. As always, we're going to read one chapter today, or right now, and you should have your stuffed animal friend with you so that you are able to discuss as you are reading. Now, you want to be able to ask and answer questions to build your understanding. That is the purpose of a read aloud. So if I'm going to do all the reading, I need you to do all the thinking. So here we go. James and the Giant Peach. Chapter 27. Before I begin, I want you to pause my video and think back what has happened so far. Alright, so welcome back. Hopefully you did as I asked and you paused the video so you were able to review what's happened so far. As you should be aware, James and his creature friends are floating around a giant peach led by Seagull. They just saved the centipede from immediate danger as he fell off the side, and very brave James jumped in to save him. And by jumped in, I meant jumped off the peach and into the water. So quite brave of James, if you do say so yourself. So we're now in chapter 27. James Henry Trotter and his companions crouched close together on top of the peach as the night began closing in around them. Clouds like mountains towered high above their heads on all sides. Mysterious, menacing, overwhelming. Gradually it grew darker and darker, and then a pale three-quarter moon came out over the tops of the clouds and cast an eerie light over the whole scene. The giant peach swayed gently from side to side as it was floating along, and the hundreds of silky white strings going upward from its stem were beautiful in the moonlight. So also was a great flock of seagulls overhead. There was not a sound anywhere. Traveling upon the peach was not in the least like traveling in an airplane. So here's a picture of them just floating around. It's dark out. The moon's casting a beautiful glow. The author is describing it. The airplanes come clattering and roaring through the sky, and whatever might be lurking silently up there in the great cloud mountains goes running for cover as it approaches. That's why people who travel in airplanes never see anything. But the peach? Ah, yes. The peach was a soft, stealthy traveler, making no noise at all as it floated along. And several times during that long, silent night ride, high up over the middle of the ocean in the moonlight, James and his friends saw things that no one had ever seen before. Once as they drifted slightly past a massive white cloud, they saw on the top of it a group of strange, tall, wispy-looking things that were about twice the height of ordinary men. They were not easy to see at first because they were almost as white as the cloud itself. So again, back to the picture of them floating along, exploring at night, seeing some strange wispy creatures on top of the mountains, on the clouds. But as the peach sailed closer, it became obvious these things were actually living creatures, tall, wispy, wrath-like, shadowy white creatures who looked as though they were made out of a mixture of cotton wool and cotton floss and thin white hairs. And by candy floss, they mean cotton candy. So imagine white cotton candy creatures just up there hanging out on the clouds. Ooh, the ladybug said. I don't like this at all. Shh, James whispered back. Don't let them hear you. They must be cloud men. Cloud men? They murmured, huddling close together for comfort. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm glad I'm blind and can't see them, the earthworm said. Or I would probably scream. I hope they don't turn us around to see us, Miss Spider stammered. Do you think they'd eat us? The earthworm asked. They wouldn't eat you, the centipede answered, grinning. They would cut you up like salami and eat you in thin slices. The poor earthworm began to quiver all over with fright. But what are they doing? The old green grasshopper whispered. I don't know, James answered softly. Let's watch and see. The cloud men were all standing in a group, and they were doing something peculiar with their hands. First, they would reach out, all of them at once, and grab handfuls of cloud. They would roll these handfuls of cloud in their fingers until they turned into what looked like large white marbles. Then they would toss the marbles to one side and quickly grab more bits of cloud and start all over again. It was all very silent and mysterious. The pile of marbles beside them kept growing larger and larger. Soon there was a truckload of them right there at least. "They must be absolutely mad," the centipede said. "There's nothing to be afraid of here." "Be quiet, you pest," the earthworm whispered. "We shall all be eaten if they see us." But the cloud men were much too busy with what they were doing to have noticed the great peach flowing silently up behind them. When the watchers on the peach saw one of the cloud men raising his long wispy arm above his head, and they heard him shouting, "All right, boys, that's enough. Get the shovels." And all the other cloud men immediately let out a strange high-pitched whoop of joy and started jumping up and down and waving their arms in the air. Then they picked up enormous shovels and rushed over to the piles of marbles and began to shove them as fast as they could over the side of the cloud into space. "Down they go," they chanted as they worked. "Down they go, hail and snow, freezes and sneezes and toes will blow." "It's hailstorm," whispered James excitedly. They're been making stones, and now they are shoving them down onto the people in the world below." "Hailstorms?" the centipede said. "That's ridiculous. This is summertime. You don't have hailstones in summertime." "They are practicing for winter," James told them. "I don't believe it," said the centipede, raising his voice. And you get this eerie little picture to show you the wispy creatures are shoveling hailstones off the clouds. Again, they're wispy, which means like a delicate, thin, cloud-like creature. "Shh," the others whispered. And James said softly, "For heaven's sake, centipede, don't make such noise." The centipede roared with laughter. "Those imbeciles couldn't hear anyway," he cried. "They're deaf as doorknobs. You watch." And before anyone could stop him, he had cupped his front feet to his mouth and was yelling at the cloud men as loud as he could. "Idiots!" he yelled. "Nincompoops, half-wits, blunderheads, butt-heads, what on earth do you think you're doing over there?" The effort was immediate. The cloud men jumped around as if they'd been stung by wasps, and when they saw the great golden peach floating past them, not 50 yards away in the sky, they gave a yelp of surprise and dropped their shovels to the ground. And there they stood with the moonlight streaming down all over them, absolutely motionless, like a group of tall, white, hairy statues, staring and staring at the gigantic fruit as it went sailing by. The passengers on the peach, all except the centipede, sat frozen with terror, looking back at the cloudmen and wondering what was going to happen next. "Now you've done it, you loathsome pest," whispered the earthworm to the centipede. "I'm not frightened of them," shouted the centipede, and showed everybody once again that he wasn't. He stood up on his full height and started dancing around and making insulting signs at the cloudmen with all 42 of his legs. This evidently infuriated the cloudmen beyond belief. All at once they spun around and grabbed great handfuls of hailstones and rushed to the edge of the cloud and started throwing them at the peach, shrieking with fury all the time. "Look out!" cried James. "Quick, lie down! Lie flat on the deck!" It was lucky they did. A large hailstone can hurt you as much as a rock or a lump of lead if it is thrown hard enough. And my goodness, how those cloud men could throw. The hailstones came whizzing around the air like bullets from a machine gun, and James could hear them smashing against the side of the peach and burying themselves into the peach flesh with horrible squelching noises, plop, 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 and then ping, 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 as they bounced off the poor ladybug's shell because she couldn't lie as flat as the others. And then crack, as one of them hit the centipede right on the nose, and crack, again as another one hit him somewhere else. "Ow!" he cried. "Ow! Stop! Stop! Stop!" but the cloud man had no intention of stopping. James could see them rushing about on the cloud like a lot of huge, hairy ghosts, picking up hailstorm stones from the pile, dashing to the edge of the cloud, hurling the hailstones at the peach, dashing back again to get more, and then when the pile of stones was all gone, they simply grabbed handfuls of cloud and made as many more as they wanted, and much bigger ones now, some of them as large as cannonballs. "Quickly!" cried James. "Down the tunnel, or we'll all be wiped out." There was a rush for the tunnel entrance, and half a minute later, everybody was safely downstairs inside the stone of the peach, trembling with fright and listening to the noise of the hailstones as they came crashing against the side of the peach. "I'm a wreck," groaned the centipede. "I am wounded all over." "It serves you right," said the earthworm. "Would somebody come and look to see if my shell is cracked?" the ladybug said. "Give us some light," shouted the old green grasshopper. "I can't," wailed the glowworm. "They've broken my bulb." "Then put in another one," the centipede said. "Be quiet a minute," said James. "Listen, I do believe they're not hitting us anymore." They all stopped talking and listened. Yes, the noise had ceased. The hailstones were no longer smashing against the peach. "We've left them behind. The seagulls must have pulled us away out of danger. Hooray! Let's go up and see." Cautiously, with James going first, they all climbed back up the tunnel. James poking his head out and looking around. "It's all clear," he called. "I can't see them anywhere." And that, boys and girls, is the end of chapter 27. So I want you to stop and think, why did the centipede create such a scene? Why did he insult the cloud man? Why would he cause such trouble? I want you to stop and talk about this with your stuffed animal friend before you proceed to answer the exit ticket I have. What do you think is going to happen next?